to Community Connections. I'm Marty, your host. Glad you're joining us today because we have a great show for you. Joining me first is Robert Zinni and Heather D'Souza. Welcome. They are here talking about everything that they've got going on. There's a new place, and it's a little over a year now in Prescott on Cortez, and it's called the Art Hive. And they're part of part of that group and doing a lot of things on your own. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and tell us a little bit about what you do there, Robert, Heather, and some of the activities you have coming up, because this is open to anybody. And we're excited to have this new venue and all the stuff that's happening. It's a gallery, it's studios, it's a performing arts space, it's a little bit of everything, right?
A little bit of everything. It's like a cultural hub of the Quad City area. And we just wrapped up La Fiesta, which was a Latino community event, and everybody came out. It was a great community effort. And that's kind of what the Art Hive's mission is a community space for creatives or people who like to support the art and just have a really fun time. Mm-hmm. We have Studio 16 at the Art Hive. I'm more of a painter and a videographer, and Heather's a photographer and owns her own marketing firm. But together we are a Dose of Sunshine podcast.
Oh, I like that, a dose of sunshine, because you truly both are.
Thank you. She is.
Well, let's tell everybody where the Art Hive is so we can give them a perspective on location.
It's 203 North Cortez Street. If you're familiar with the Raven, it's going to be catty corner across the street, right between Teufel and Murphy's Restaurant. It used to be the old antique mall, and now it is a collective of over 28, I believe, current artists, age ranging from mid-20s to late 70s. There's so many different mediums in there, and the best time to come and view it would be the Fourth Friday Art Walks. That's when most studios will be open, but you can also check on Instagram, the Art Hive Prescott, for all upcoming events there too. And
so you both share a studio there too?
We do.
In addition to everybody else, so they have their individual studios where they actually go to work and do their art. And I know you've got a great exhibit opening up this Fourth Friday in May. So it's always, and I learned this from the other day, that the opening for the next month's show always happens on that Fourth Friday. And so a sculpture.
Of all different shapes of heads.
Yes.
So
it's very unique.
It's unique. I'm excited because we have this Sunshine Solstice party on June 14th. And when you enter the Art Hive, you get to see all these freaky heads to the back room where the party's hosted. So I think it's going to be a good vibe.
Yes. Well, tell us about the Sunshine Solstice party. That is something that you're producing?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're producing it from our podcast, A Dose of Sunshine podcast. We are so thrilled to have the first Sunshine Solstice party in downtown Prescott. It is 1 week before the actual solstice, which we're okay with because there's other solstice events. So now you get 2 weekends of beautiful solstice events. We'll have art installations throughout the entire hive. We'll have 2 different food trucks. We have Mac's Hot Dogs and Nana's Ice Creams. So you can actually have a cute little ice cream date. We'll have a intention location and an altar. So if you aren't familiar with solstice, a lot of people spend that time to do reflection, make some intentions for the next year. And then if you want to let go of anything, we also have a fire pit where you can write down some stuff. We have a live painter, Jenny Rose Harlow. Yeah. We'll be doing a mandala on a tapestry. We'll have free massages, some palm readings, a bar, and music.
And music, yes.
Yeah.
All of this is inside the Art Hive?
Yep.
Oh, that sounds like a big space. I mean, I'm envisioning it like just walking in a gallery. I'm thinking times 5 or something, right?
Yeah, well, it's a huge space. And so really where the party is in is Studio 27, which for the public, you can rent for a cheap rate through Cloud. And so since we're members, we get a cheaper rate.
Right.
And so the music is in 27. And so we'll have Meg Borman from the Galactic Gods to start off nice and folky.
Diana.
Yeah, and then we'll have Sadie Norkin to bring a little bit of punk music into it. And then we're thinking we'll take a little break. We'll show some of my visual work that I've been doing for the TBD show, but more solstice-centered. And then we'll break into some EDM music because A, it's going to be a preview night for Origins 2, but then also we have to film a couple scenes for our upcoming show. So we'll have Dutch Holly, which is a local electronic music band. We have Mammofish, Brandon Black, Christmas, and Lunar Troll, the DJs that will be at the Federal on July 20th. So it's really just an evening to kind of like...
One night, right?
One night,
Okay.
June 14th, but it's a night that if you want to come and celebrate whatever the solstice means to you, we all come from different backgrounds, but for me, I like to set intentions for the summertime, but really I like the way that we curate it where we have like more folk music, and then after dark, we have some dancing. Because, we should get down on the solstice.
Absolutely. So is there an admission fee?
No,
Nope.
it's completely free. We wanted to make it a community event for all. So there are, vendors there. There's jewelry vendors. Certain services you'll pay for, but again, it's very affordable. And we're
Like
asking
the food and the bar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, to actually come in and be a part of the activities and see the entertainment, things going on.
Free events, because
Wow.
if we do our bigger shows with our other brands,
Right.
then we can make money. But usually, Heather and I, we're all about the community. And, it goes back to at least my childhood where my grandparents kind of like ran the parish of a Catholic church and did all the back work. So that's where the community aspect really comes in for us with our core values. But really, we can have other events where people can pay the money to come. This is more just for the community because, that's what the Art Hive is all about, is we want
Right.
to bring the community together to just celebrate life.
Well, it sounds like you've got in all aspects of that covered, and I really like the fact you're bringing the arts community together, because it's so important that we support one another and keep it moving forward. And in times when arts tend to be, overlooked, and that's when you really need it.
Yep.
You really, really need it. Your podcast, A Little Dose of Sunshine. How does somebody listen to that?
Heather?
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, so we are on Spotify. We're looking to branch out to other listening platforms as well. But A Dose of Sunshine is a travel podcast. Here's some of our merch we just released. So of course
This
we
is
live
so
in
cute.
sunny Arizona, so what better than to have UV protection shirts? These are UV 50. We also have some tank tops, stickers,
yes.
and hats that we'll be releasing at the Solstice Party for the first launch. But A Dose of Sunshine kind of came about when we first started dating. We were traveling a lot together. We're both very creative and like to share our travels through videos and photos, and we decided why not do a podcast and give very exciting information for people, useful tips for how to find the best Airbnbs, or if you're doing car camping, if you're paying for a campground or maybe using BLM land. So we try to give really good nuggets of information. And then we also highlight restaurants and cool stuff.
And then share some unfortunate or funny stories. Like this one time we're in Porto, Portugal, and for some reason I woke up really good, and then I put diesel in my fuel tank and it got split out. But I bought the insurance, so we're good. So that's kind of what we do.
Fun stories.
We bring the sunshine in everyday travel.
Yeah.
And you've been there, done that, and it can happen, but we all get through it. Okay, Robert and Heather, one more time on the summer solstice event, June 14th.
June 14th. Yep, from 6 to midnight.
6 to midnight at the Art Hive.
Art Hive.
And- Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you there, both of you. And I want my UV protective shirts because I need it. All right, we'll be right back.
This is my house. My parents helped build it. Now we don't get wet when it rains. I don't get too hot or too cold inside. And I don't have to worry when the winds blow. This is my house.
This is my house.
This is my house.
This is my house.
My house.
My house.
I can play with my sister. I can play with my brother. I can play with my mother, my father, my family.
My family. My family. This is my house. This is my house.
I can study. I can be safe with my family. This is my house.
This is my house.
This is my house.
This is my house.
My house.
My house.
This is my house.
Visit Habitat.org to find out how you can help more families like mine have a safe, decent place to call home.
Got some soup for you.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Community Connections. Joining me now is Kathy Heath. She's the secretary for LASER. LASER stands for Large Animal Shelters and Emergency Readiness. And at times of emergency, we're scrambling to take care of ourselves. We also have to remember we have our animals to take care of. And you guys do an amazing job with that.
Thank you. We started 5 years ago. Our call to action was after the Goodwin fire. If you were here in 2017, you may remember that 7,000 people were evacuated and over 200 barn animals needed sheltering.
Right.
So LASER was not born yet, but it was the same people with great intentions and compassion setting up a shelter for 200 animals.
They just on the spot said,
on the spot,
we've got to do something, we're going to make it happen, and you did it.
And we did it, but we realized it needed more structure, and we needed
to be prepared.
To be ready ahead of time, not reacting, but being proactive.
Right. But it took that one time to say, hey, there is a need for this.
Yes.
And now how do we get ready for when the next time comes, which always happens?
The need has grown because in our 5 years, we've been activated 8 times already.
Wow.
All for wildfires. Now it could be for something else like a hazardous waste spill in a neighborhood that would cause an evacuation. But LASER shelters the barn animals, the horses, the goats, the chickens, the poultry. There's a lot of people with poultry now. We have sheltered turkeys and ducks,
rabbits, things like that.
We can do rabbits
if it's from a barn, situation. Okay, so originally it was large animals, but then through a series of grants, you've been able to expand and have the capability to house with the other animals.
Our shelters, we have 2. The main one is provided by the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
Without their support, we can't do this. There's 190 stalls out in Prescott Valley here by Arizona Downs, dedicated just as a large animal shelter. Our secondary alternate would be out at Chino Valley Equestrian Park, and with the help of our community, we raised enough money to build stalls out there. So if the fire encroaches here too close in Prescott Valley, we can always go to Chino.
Right. So how many times have you been activated then?
8 times.
8 times. And what does it take to relocate those animals?
Well, people bring them to us.
Okay.
So LASER is the destination.
Okay.
If they can't get them to us on their own, there are other organizations that will transport. Triple E will help the community. But we provide the shelter. We have the volunteers on staff 24/7 until the animals and the people can go back home.
Right.
We provide the feed, we clean the stalls, we do wellness checks. We're there overnight watching over the people's animals just because we're compassionate and we're animal lovers too.
Right. What funds the LASER?
We're empowered entirely by donations and grants. The Arizona Community Foundation has been incredible in helping us get our shelters set up and supplied.
Right.
State Farm Insurance provided a grant. We have some great donors. The community itself, sponsorships from businesses like Olson's, they will provide hay when we're activated. It's all about relationships and support from the community.
Now you have established a 501c3 though, right?
We are a 501c3.
So you can take donations. Can you take donations of food, or is it more monetary to continue to support because you don't need it until you're activated?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, we can't have hay sitting around year after year. So monetary is the best type of donation.
What's the largest number of animals you've had relocated out to LASER?
Oh, wow. I was thinking about the Crooks fire 2 years ago, evacuated a lot of people in Walker. And we didn't have a lot of animals, but we had them for 2 weeks.
Oh.
So it was an unprecedented stay, but the people were not allowed to go back home for that period of time. So we had, chickens and horses and goats and turkeys. But for the racetrack fire just last year, the White Horse Ranch community was evacuated along Highway 169. We were there 1 week, and we had 13 horses and 69 poultry and goats, and we had pigs. We've had, maybe as many as 60 to 75 animals at any one time.
How does somebody get involved with laser? Can they volunteer? Is there a training program? I mean, I have to say this community, is passionate about its animals, large and small.
Yes.
And so there might be retirees watching or listening and saying, that's not something that's an everyday volunteer job, but when you're needed, you're called. And how do you get involved?
So we do have our application is on our website, laser-shelter.org.
That's LASER-shelter.org.
Correct. And people can download an application from the website. They can give us a call. Our phone number is also there. We have a lot of different levels of opportunity for volunteers. You don't necessarily have to know how to handle a horse.
Right.
So we have...
Or catch a chicken.
Right. But we do have people who will greet owners when they arrive with their animals and start the paperwork for intake.
Right.
We have people who will clean and feed. We have people who might be a shelter manager and oversee the operations of the shelter during their shift. We also need help with things like outreach, fundraising. So there's a lot of opportunities for people.
Right.
And this is not just about the animals. This is about the community. That if people have a plan in place for their animals, they will evacuate more quickly.
Right.
The alternative used to be stay home with your animals or refuse to leave.
Right.
Or let your animals loose, and neither one is a good
And
solution.
I always saw that when we've had those situations, those fires, and there needed to be animals evacuated, I mean, the Facebook and the Instagram, it blows up with people saying, I've got a horse trailer, I can come help you, people are really ready to step in and help.
It does blow up, and things get a little chaotic at first. We do have a seat in the Emergency Operations Center because we work very closely with the county emergency management. And so we are on top of all that messaging. The public information officer for the county will get the message out about the laser shelter opening. We have a quick response team that goes out as soon as we get word that there's anything brewing. We will send our quick response team out to the shelter, get it ready with hoses and buckets and get the supplies ready. And as soon as the county activates us, we open the gates and then we're ready to go.
Wow. It's all about the planning. It's all about the planning.
A great deal of planning ahead of time. It's all about preparedness.
Well, I know you were talking about you rely on grants and donations, and I know you mentioned, and we're going to tell you to keep following Laser because they'll have a fundraiser in the fall, and it'd be a wonderful way to continue to support the work you do because somebody needs to, and thank you for stepping up.
Well, we're here for the community, and we can't do it without their support.
Laser, LASER-shelter.org to follow for more information. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Marnie.
Appreciate you coming. Short break. We'll be right back.
So as a technical sergeant, E6.
I served in Vietnam in 1969.
I am a U.S. Army veteran.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes.
Try to always be there for each other.
I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I can't say that I have. I mean,
If you don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts, it can be really bad.
eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
I guess it's a part of the military too, right? Service before self.
It was drilled in, service before self.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me, When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
When people ask us who we are, we tell them we're problem solvers, opportunity creators, and change makers. We are Rotary. Around the world, our network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, and leaders volunteer their skills, and resources to solve issues and address community needs. Take action with us. Find out more at rotary.org/action.
And welcome back to Community Connections. My next guest is the wonderful Mona Stevens, Development Director with Casa for Kids Foundation. Welcome, Mona.
Hey, how are you?
Come on, we're just relaxing.
Yes.
You know, we're always running and going crazy, and I know you've got a big event coming up, so I know you're out there marketing it and still working to put it together. But it's Champions for Children, a Midsummer Night's Dream, supporting Casa for Kids Foundation. And so let's start, Mona, with talking about Casa for Kids Foundation. What is it that you do?
So what Yavapai Casa for Kids Foundation does is we help kids in foster care, in a nutshell. So we help them with their emergency needs, whether they're getting removed from a home and they don't have anything but the clothes on their back, if they're hungry or they're going to their grandma and they need a bed, we make sure they have all of that. But then the things that contribute to a positive childhood experience. So if they want to do sports, if they want to do tutoring, go to prom, get a driver's license, and they need the classes, we'll pay for that. And then we have programs that help kids that are aging out of the foster care system kind of negate some of the negative statistics that are out there and overcome barriers to their success and roadmap their future and help them every step of the way working towards that brighter future for themselves. So that's what we do. We've been doing that for over 20 years.
You're like angels for children in foster care, supporting them. Things that we take, you know, the average person takes for granted, that you buy your tickets, you buy your uniforms, you attend performances or whatever. And those kids don't necessarily have that opportunity unless you're there to help. And that's amazing. That's amazing. And then that transition, when you've been in foster care and now you're out on your own as an adult, and who's going to help you to get those next steps? Help get that job or find that place to live.
Yeah. A lot of times when people are getting ready to age out, they're done with the system. And if they're at a point where they've been in the system for a while, they're most likely living in a group home. Teenagers don't tend to get placed that often, so they end up going to Phoenix to group homes, and they don't have life skills. And it's like at 18, there you go. And it's like instantly no place to live. I don't know how to do my laundry. I don't know what a checkbook is. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, we don't really use checkbooks anymore, but.
Well, some of you don't. Thank you, Mona, for reminding me how old I am. No, let's talk about your event, because all of this requires raising money to be able for you to do those things. And so you rely on grants and actually donor-based funding.
Yeah, we do pull in some grants per year, but the majority of our money comes from people in Yavapai County when they give for the tax credit.
So let's talk about this event coming up, because you and I have talked about it, and it just gets you all excited.
Yeah, I'm excited because we're doing things at this event that we've never done before, and I think they're more at the heart of what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is coming up on June the 15th. It's from 4 to 8 p.m. and it's out at the Windmill House, which is a new location, isn't it, for you?
We've had it there one time prior.
Okay.
It's a beautiful location in Chino Valley if you've never been there.
No, I have been. It's an incredible, and you're utilizing part of it in a different way for the VIP experience, because there's 2 level tickets. The general, purchase a ticket to support it and come, or the VIP experience was just a little more. But Mona told me it's no matter what you do, going out there and being a part of this is going to be magical.
Yeah, it is really going to be a magical night, and there's something for everyone. So with the general tickets, what you'll get is you'll get a drink ticket when you come. You get food from us. It's going to be prime rib and salmon and some other things. You'll get access to our silent auction. You'll get access to, we're calling it a fairy tournament, but it's really a cornhole tournament. And it's so nice. Like, we had people make the cornhole for us, so it's a Midsummer Night's Dream theme. But then one of our board members, I guess there's regulations on what needs to be in the corn toss. I didn't know anything about that.
Oh, like the bags themselves, yeah.
So she changed them to be fairy shaped, but they're to regulation. There's going to be that, live music, all of that. But the VIP is going to be awesome as well, I think. We'll also have a award ceremony for the first time, recognizing 2 outstanding people for being champions for foster kids in our community. And it's just going to be a fun night. I mean, maybe I'm not saying it as fun now, but it's like dancing,
It does have fun.
Food, drinks, the whole shebang.
Well, how does somebody get tickets?
You can go to our website, yavapaikasaforkids.org/annual-gala, or just go to the website and click events. It's right there it's scrolling across the top. You can buy tickets there, or if you're not technically savvy, just give us a call. We'll be happy to walk you through the process. We take all forms of money.
You take checks?
Yes, we do.
So there's so many opportunities to be able to purchase tickets, support it. And then you and I had talked about the other day that sometimes people have other commitments in the same weekend, but you can still support Yavapai Casa for Kids with your tax-deductible donation that also qualifies for the Arizona tax credits. And even though we're in May and nobody's thinking about that, you should think about then you're done
for next year.
Then you're done, and this is all part of it. You've been with the foundation for how long now?
I took a little hiatus for a year, but I'm coming up on my 5-year mark.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I've only been in Prescott for 6.
I know. Well, you've been a go-getter for 6 years. That's what I can tell you. So again, all these things are going on. And if somebody wanted to volunteer or support Yavapai Casa for Kids Foundation, how would they do that? Can they donate items? I know you have that closet of games and things. Is there other ways they can help?
Yeah, there's a ton of ways you can get involved. We have a toy chest at both of our family visitation locations now, and that just allows kids to be able to get birthday presents, if they celebrate something. So if you have toys you want to give, even if we take new toys for that, there's used things you can give us, and we'll put it in our family visitation centers. Somebody just donated a Wii, so that way our kids could be able to play with their families indoors during the summer, and it's nice. We also need volunteers at tabling events. We need volunteers at things like this, our 5K. There's all kinds of ways to get involved. Just give us a call. We would love to talk to you about what it is you would like to do and see how we can incorporate it in what we're doing.
And when you mentioned the Family Visitation Center, that is the center that you opened where people can come and visit with their kids in a safe environment.
Yes, and we just expanded in I want to say last year, we just expanded to the Verde.
Yes.
So we now have a family visitation center and an office space over there as well.
I know we opened the Family Visitation Center in Prescott Valley in 2020 during the COVID, because I remember I have pictures of us with all in masks on.
Yeah, we have the ribbon cutting and everything. We have that picture in our office.
That's right. Okay, so one more time, give everybody information on how they can purchase tickets for Champions for Children. It's a Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's the gala benefiting local foster youth.
Just go online to our website, yavapaikasaforkids.org, and you'll be able to get it, or give us a call at 928-445-0800.
Mona, thank you so much for joining us. And again, I'll see you there. I told you, Fairy Wings.
Yes.
Be there. Thank you, and have a great week.